The Hyundai Kona with driver attention warning. Not available on Chevy Trax, Honda HR-V, or Jeep Renegade.
Drive home a new 2020 Hyundai Kona today. Now starting at $21,440. Complimentary maintenance included. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
That's Greg Paulson. I'm Danny Rouillet. We are talking Nationals GP. Losers of 3 straight, 4 out of 5. If there was kind of maybe there's a late season run in them, get back into the playoff race this last week, may have kind of put the kibosh on that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, kind of the roster may have put the kibosh on that. I mean, they aren't built right now for one of those magical runs that they went on last year. The rotation has not been good enough. I think the story of this season for Washington was that coming into the year, the rotation was supposed to have been the buoy that held them above water, even if everything was going poorly. And that just didn't happen. Steven Strasburg, unavailable and injured, he threw in single-digit innings this year. Max Scherzer, while really good at times, was not his dominant Cy Young caliber self. Patrick Corbin, while very solid for the most part, has not been pitching at the level that he did last year. And he's certainly not the problem. But the point is, when you don't have Strauss, those two guys have to be better, and they weren't. And then you didn't have any pitching depth. I mean, Anibal Sanchez, who threw again against the Rays to start the series on Tuesday, really, really struggled. He has not pitched well. Austin Voth does not look like a guy that's going to be in this rotation in the future. So it's been bad from a pitching standpoint. And when you lose Anthony Rendon and Bryce Harper in 2 years and you're trying to score enough runs to win, that makes it really difficult.
Every night it's something different too, right? And on the nights maybe you do pitch well, you still find a way to lose. And that's kind of the story, and it snowballs. Sean Doolittle may have thrown his last pitch for the Washington Nationals. A guy that you and I both have gotten to know over the years, has gotten some enormous outs for this club. You hate to see him leave that way with an injury as he's getting himself back to effective. And speaking of effectiveness, when he was right, his stuff, among the most effective relievers, honestly, in the sport over the last handful of years. So you just hate to see it maybe end that way for a guy that was so instrumental and did so much in this city.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's well said. I mean, I really do hope, whether it's in Washington or somewhere else, my guess is he wants to keep playing, that next year he's healthy in April and he can put together a season or maybe multiple seasons and go out on his own terms. You hate for injuries to catch up to someone, which has clearly been the case for him over the last calendar year or so. But sandwiched there in the middle was a great run in the playoffs and helping this team to win a World Series. And you're right, since coming here in a trade with Ryan Madson, Jesus Luzardo, Blake Trinan, some others going out to Oakland in that deal from Washington, he was a dominant force for much of his time, minus really 2 stints over the last couple of seasons. He was the key cog in a bullpen that was always in flux, and he always knew when Doolittle was in the game, if he could just get to that 9th inning, everything would be okay. So he will be missed if he's not here. I don't think it's a slam dunk that that's the case, but I think there's a real good chance that you're right. We don't see him in Washington next year, but he had a heck of a run here, and he is a World Series hero.
Quick one here. The veteran group that the Nationals assembled last year, really to a degree this year, I thought really played to their advantage. There was a softness in the market that they went after, got great value out of guys like Howie Kendrick, Asdrubal Cabrera, and the like. I think you're seeing maybe the downside of that this year with some of the injuries and, the wear and tear on those guys. Do you see them doing that kind of same approach, that sort of supplemental veterans kind of all over the clubhouse, or are they going to get with the times and maybe go a lot younger next year?
Well, yeah, I mean, the key to me is that you want those guys to essentially be, you use the word supplemental. You want them to be kind of your glue to fill in some of the cracks, and that wasn't the case this year, particularly after losing Rendon at third base. You were going to go with Asdrubal Cabrera a bunch. Then you lose Starlin Castro at second, and obviously they have pulled up Luis Garcia, but guys like Howie, they maybe played a little bit more than you were planning. So I think the key is that you don't necessarily go into the season relying on those guys to play huge amounts of games and have tons of at-bats. But I'm with you. What happened in 2008 and 19 in a lot of ways, it will not be replicated or duplicated. The run, the fact that you were such an old team and it just worked beautifully. So they're going to have to go back to the well and get a little creative here.
That's correct. I'm Danny. We're talking Nats each and every week.
The Hyundai Kona with driver attention warning. Not available on Chevy Trax, Honda HR-V, or Jeep Renegade.
Drive home a new 2020 Hyundai Kona today. Now starting at $21,440. Complimentary maintenance included. Visit buyhyundai.com today.